Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Roland Chaput, Precinct 12. Just a couple of comments and a question. First, I read the report from the school department a couple of days ago. I was impressed with some of the accomplishments that the kids have done in the past year, and right up until the other night when they had that high school quiz contest and did very well. I can attest to some of the successes because my oldest grandson is out of UMass Amherst and he's a deanless student this year. So, you know, we're doing a pretty decent job. We really are. My question has to do with technology, which happens to be a buzzword that I'm always interested in. And I ask you to look on page 28 of the school department budget report. And there's a long series of paragraphs relative to technology K to 12. And some of them I'm familiar with, and others I haven't had an opportunity to take advantage of. I am really interested and I probably should ask this question every year. And I will, in fact, ask through the moderator if the technology director or chief officer can give us a couple of minutes. Where are we going right now? You recall a few nights ago that I said at the vocational level, the need in this country is for technology people, not necessarily college graduates, because that's where the jobs are. Now at this level, the academic level, the same kind of argument can be made. What I want to know is, where do we look through next year and the year following that if we just consider the technological upgrades within the school department?
I
Mr.
think
Good.
you asked the Chief Technology Officer. He can tell you about the new machines and software, but if you're looking for a curriculum, I think you have to ask Dr. Bodie.
No, I want to know what is he using to, as an adjunct tools, if you will,
Actually,
in a given
I
school.
think that's more directed to Dr. Bodie. Dave can tell you about what machines she wants him to buy. Dr. Bodie?
I would have preferred to see the answer from Mr. Good. He's the one who's got his hands on it all the time.
I think it's more of a curriculum question.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. David Good, Chief Technology Officer. The school's path for the next 3 to 5 years has been laid out in the strategic plan that is listed in the website for the schools. What that plan encompasses is sort of a threefold sort of melding type effort. One is infrastructure, 2 is curriculum, and 3 is software applications. Currently, we're rebuilding the school's network and have a variety of different pilot programs that are running in various public or media center type areas in the schools where we've installed wireless and are using portable equipment. The long-term goal, and we're not sure it's ours yet, but the academia is moving to sort of the one-to-one computing model. We're using sort of the pilot method with a variety of vendors and a variety of type tools to test this out to see if it in fact is something that we can use in the district. The sort of increase in portable equipment, so study groups can be formed anywhere, and group learning, like group employment, teams in industry are very popular. Groups are very popular. Sort of the ability to work together on common outcomes are done at the college level, and we would want our junior high and high school students prepared for that. Curriculum-wise, we're looking at tools that will enhance sort of CAD development, reading and writing. Special education is an area where we've gone to sort of a one-to-many model using projection and shared resources. We're also, I won't say dabbling, but we're invested in cloud computing. Currently, we are sort of a Google Apps environment. We do a lot of file sharing, mail, website development at the high school. Students and teachers have a same sort of email and work environment, and we'll probably expand that to the Ottoson School in the coming year. I think the thing that is key and the thing to remember is as we invest, we need to do two things at the same time. We need to invest in rebuilding an aged infrastructure, as well as trying to get out onto the, I'm not going to say bleeding edge, but at least to the edge. Devices like this will be devices that students will use. At the opening of the school, we had a physics professor from Harvard do an opening discussion, and his claim to fame is that he has sort of reversed the classroom dynamic where homework is done in the classroom and classwork is done at home. And he's done this with technology and a web-based polling tool. And so he had us all connect and log in with our devices, and we connected to our sort of new wireless environment, and we answered a variety of polling questions. Some of us did better than others, but the dynamic that comes from that application, the faculty member can take a look at the results and sort of match participants or students into sort of secondary groups and say, here's a group of students that got these answers correct, we'll pair them with some that didn't. What is the dynamic if you compare or place all of the students who got it right? And what is the sort of advancement to the learning in each of those groups? So that's where sort of Ivy League schools and others are going at the collegiate level. We're trying to build an infrastructure to prepare our students to get there, along with sort of a robust group of applications, and training of teachers and hiring of teachers with technical background has become key, because the world has gone in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Good. Mr. McCord, oh, go ahead, Mr. Chaput. I thought you were done.
Thank you. I'm encouraged. Really, I will ask this question every year because I want to see what's happening here. This is where we need to be. If we're going to stay on that top 2% in the United States, we have to stay on top of this activity. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you. Mr. McCory? Mr. Schlichtman, our newest school committee member?
Paul Schlichtman, Precinct 9, through you, Mr. Moderator. If I might ask the CFO if she'd care to enlighten us on the change in the numbers in the athletic budget.
Do you have a specific kind of question for?
It was previously stated that we're cutting our athletic spending by a number. I'm just wondering if that is indeed the case, and to explain the numbers.
Diane Johnson, Chief Financial Officer. In FY11 was the first year when we started attempting to track athletics in a more detailed way. That was the first time we were gathering data on a sport-by-sport basis. And it was a new chart of accounts, it was a new way of handling the entire budget, and it was a new way of handling athletics. My long-term goal has been to develop 3 years of actuals data in every budget cycle. So you'll be able to look back over 3 years worth of trending and actuals as we're developing the current year's budget and the future year's budget. But I only have 1 year of data so far. And so I think it's important to bear in mind in the FY11 expenses for athletics, that isn't a trend. That is a point in time. And I'm not, in fact, I know there's one overstatement in there in that the athletic director is not a 1.0 position, but I do know 1.0 of his salary ended up in that budget. So, you know, these are things that shake out over time, and FY11 was our first year running with this new model. 561,877 had been the amount that was budgeted for FY11. To what extent athletics went over budget, or, you know, we captured things in the athletic budget that didn't truly belong there, I didn't go back and parse that out. I'm hoping to show over time that we'll see the real trend of what athletics truly cost, sport by sport, and also in aggregate. So as you'll see, we've budgeted in FY12 and FY13, which is actually the same budget back to FY11. Rather than actual, and we're moving forward. We've added the $22,000 this year to provide additional safety equipment or any other as needed for the athletic director in the pursuit of better safety for our students.
So basically the change in numbers is an effort to go from a less precise measure, trying to get it down to something where we have hard data that we can make informed decisions from.
Correct, and the budgets of FY12 and 13, we're moving in that direction, but we're not there yet.
I know this is far more precise than in my previous run of the school committee, and I thank you for that work.